Hello everyone. Welcome to English Saka. Let's look at the line by line explanation part 2 of the first chapter of Literature Reader Hornbill, The Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh. Before we continue with the story, let's have a quick recapitulation. In the story, the author describes his grandmother. He tells us that his grandmother was a lady, an old lady full of wrinkles, and it was hard for him to believe that she was ever young and beautiful. And as far as his grandfather is concerned, he feels that his grandfather looked such a person who can only have lots and lots of grandchildren. And the author tells us that although he feels that his grandmother was never a young and beautiful person physically, but indeed she was a beautiful person, and he compares his grandmother with winter landscape in mountains, an expanse of pure white serenity. In the next part, the author comments on the strong bond of friendship between the two when they lived in the village, as their parents were in the city to try their luck to settle down there. And in this phase, a strong friendship developed between these two, and the grandmother cared a lot for him. And here only we learn that the grandmother was extremely religious person. She had spiritual inclination, she was benevolent too. And but then a turning point came in their friendship when they went to the city to live along with the author's parents. The grandmother could not help her grandson in his studies. She was moreover upset with the English education. She was upset with the subject. She could not help the author in his studies, and moreover she was upset because there was no teaching on God or scripture, and the learning of music lessons made her further very much depressed. Now we also found that the various ways the grandmother tried to cope up with the changing scenario. Let's go ahead with the story. When I went up to university after school, the next phase was when the author went to college university. He was given a room of his own, a separate room. So because of this, the common link of friendship was broken, snapped. My and his grandmother, without any complaint or without any word, she had accepted her seclusion or loneliness or solitude with resignation or with surrenderance, without raising any voice or without making any complaint. She really left her spinning wheel to talk to anymore. So, how did the grandmother cope up with her loneliness? She would spin the wheel to spin the yarn, and while doing this she would attend to her prayers and counting the beads of rosary from sunrise to sunset. She would just sit by her spinning wheel and reciting the prayers. Only in the afternoon she would relax for a while to feed the sparrows. And how would the sparrows behave? What would be the behavior of the sparrows towards the grandmother, and the grandmother's behavior towards the sparrows? While she would sit in the veranda breaking the bread into little bits, hundreds of little birds would get collected round her, creating a real confusing, noisy condition of chirping, veritable, real bedlam, confusing, noisy situation of chirping. Some birds would come and perch on or alight on her, sit on her legs. Others would sit on her shoulders. Some even sat on her head. How would she react? She would just smile, but she would never try to make them run away or shoo them away. It would be, according to the author always had a strong and close observation about his grandmother, and he felt that during this time she would be at her happiest mood, at the happiest mood. This would be the happiest half an hour for her. throughout the day. When finally the next phase, when after completing university education after few years, when the author decided to go abroad for higher studies, he was very much sure that his grandmother would be extremely disappointed with the news, and she would not be able to tolerate this change. And he as he would be away for 5 years, 5 long years, and at her age one could never tell. The author was very much doubtful about his grandmother's health condition. She was already terribly old, and he just doubted that, he feared that anything could happen to his grandmother in this period of 5 years. So this made the author also upset, and he was very much doubtful whether when he will return after 5 years he would be able to see his grandmother. But his grandmother, at the time when the grandson was leaving, his grandmother had a different attitude, as if she was confident that she would live for these 5 years. She would wait for her grandson. She was not even sentimental, although this was a heartwarming moment, and but she remained very much composed. She didn't lose her sentiments. She came to leave him at the railway station, but she did not talk or show any emotion. Rather, her lips continuously moved in prayer. Her mind was lost in prayer. Her fingers continued telling the beads of her rosary. She was the same, no change. Yes, what she did, she just went close to the author. She kissed his forehead, and when the train left, he just lovingly remembered, adored, cherished the moist imprint of the kiss, moist imprint or impression of the kiss that was given by the grandmother on his forehead, as perhaps the last sign of physical contact between them. So it was a very emotional moment for both the grandmother and the grandson. But that was not so. But whatever he doubted, it exactly didn't happen. After 5 years, when the author came back home, and he was met by his grandmother at the station, he was surprised. She did not look a day older. She still had no time for words, and while she just hugged him, or just clasped him in her arms, he could, and when he was close to her, he could hear that she was still reciting her prayers. Even on the first day of his arrival after reaching home, he found that her happiest moments will be was when she fed the sparrows in the courtyard. But now she would have treat them with frivolous or light-hearted rebukes or scolding. This was the difference. In the evening, a change came over her. Although so far the author didn't notice any change in the attitude or in the routine of the grandmother, but he was surprised to see a change by the evening. What was this change? The time that was meant for her evening prayer, instead of attending to her evening prayer, she collected the women of neighborhood and got an old drum or dholak and started to sing. She started playing the drum and started singing along with the neighborhood women. And she did it for several hours. For several hours she thrummed, she hit the sagging skins of the dilapidated drum and sang the song of homecoming of warriors. So she just played the drum for a long time, sang for a long time, and sagging skins of the dilapidated drum. This was the condition of the drum, was had sagging skins, or the outer cover of the drum was loose, and it was old and loose, and the covering was almost hanging, and the condition of the drum was dilapidated, means very much battered, in bad condition. So here I find a similarity the way the author describes the drum. I find a similarity of drum with the author's old and wrinkled grandmother. So, here she just sang continuously and exhausted herself, and the author and his family members or his parents had to persuade her or convince her to stop playing the drum and singing, as she would overstrain herself. And that was the first time since the author had known her that she did not pray. Let's see what was the impact on the grandmother when she realized that she forgot to pray. The next morning, she was taken ill. As soon as she realized that she missed her evening prayer, she was taken ill. And however, it was a mild fever, and the doctor told them that it would go or the fever would subside soon. There was nothing to worry. But his grandmother thought differently, as if she had some other intuition about the next to happen. She told all of them that her death was near, she was approaching her death, and she said that since only a few hours before the close of the last chapter of her life, old age considered last chapter of life, and she made a big mistake as she had omitted to missed to pray. And so to repent this, to make to just manage this loss, she was not going to waste any more time talking to them or doing anything else. Whatever time was left with her, she decided to spend or to devote to God. And all of them protested, but she ignored all of their protests. So we can see that she was a person with a strong willpower. She lay peacefully in her bed, praying and telling her beads all the time, even before they could have any suspicion that she was no more. Her lips stopped moving and the rosary fell from her lifeless fingers. And there was a peaceful pallor. No doubt there was a pallor, dullness, paleness, but that paleness was full of peace. And she died with a lot of satisfaction. And they knew then that she was no more. They lifted her off the bed, and as it was customary, traditional, they laid the body of the grandmother on the ground and covered her body with a red shroud, a cloth to cover dead body. After a few hours of mourning, they just grieved a lot at this loss for some hours, and then they left the place to make necessary arrangement for her funeral, for the cremation. When in cremation the dead body is burnt. In the evening, when they just came back to that room with a crude or roughly made temporary stretcher to carry the dead body, to take her to be cremated to the crematory where the body is cremated. At this time, the atmosphere was unusual and totally different. The sun was setting, and the sun had just lit the entire room and veranda with a blaze or with a shine of golden light. And there was something that stopped them, that caught their attention. We stopped halfway in the courtyard. What did they notice? All over the veranda and in her room, right up to where she lay dead in a stiff wrapped, hardly wrapped, covered with the red shroud, thousands of sparrows sat scattered on the floor, and there was no chirping. What was surprising, and it was quite astonishing for the author and all other persons, that the thousands of the sparrows just sat quietly there was no chirping, and they felt very sorry. Initially, the first reaction of all of them was they felt sorry that the birds had come for food and the grandmother was no more to feed them. So, the author's mother went in and brought some bread for them. She broke the bread into little pieces, the same way the grandmother used to do, and threw the pieces to all the birds. Now, what was the response given by the sparrows? The sparrows took no notice of the bread, and when the grandmother's corpse or dead body was carried off, all the sparrows flew away quietly without chirping, in a silent manner. Next morning, the sweeper swept the breadcrumbs into the dustbin. So, in this way, we see that the sparrows expressed their mourning. They just came to mourn at the death of the grandmother. And with this, we come to the end of the story. Let's have a look at the vocabulary section. The better understanding of these words will help you enrich your vocabulary skills. You can take a screenshot or pause the video to study. Thank you so much.